I'm Jenni Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. We're in Stillwater, where West Virginia has defeated Oklahoma State 34-10. And Kyle, it was another tough game for the Cowboys and started out especially tough for the defense as West Virginia and their high-powered offense came out and got on the board really, really quickly. Yeah, it was a little bit of deja vu from TCU. When looking back at both games, both teams got out to a big lead on chunk yardage, what Glenn Spencer calls those X plays. And when you get in a hole like the Cowboys did, it's really tough to recover with such a young group. So coming off of that 14-0 deficit, the defense starts to stiffen up, but the problem was that the offense could never just get going. They ended up being 2 of 15 on third down, so right when they needed it most, that's when they really crumbled. But then they did get things going. They hit on that 51-yard reverse, and it did kind of swing momentum, at least for a moment. Yeah, that defense, as you mentioned, kind of got its legs under it and gave the offense a chance to get going, but they just never could. Right before halftime, had a chance to go in and maybe score, put another touchdown on the board, maybe even take the lead. And then not only do they not get it in the end zone, they missed the field goal. Just offensive problems continuing to plague this team. What troubles you as you watch today? What troubles you most about what you saw offensively? I think obviously the offensive line has been a point of contention, but in today's game, Dax Garman didn't do this offense any favors. He was about hovering around 50% on completion percentage, I think a little bit below. He had the 2 interceptions. A lot of his intermediate throws were thrown over his receivers' heads. And so that worries you going ahead, especially as these defenses are only going to get tougher, as we saw today with Kansas State shutting out Texas. So the problems still start up front. If the Cowboys aren't able to establish that run game, it doesn't open up anything else. And like Mike Gundy said today, when they dropped 8 in coverage, it just didn't give OSU very many options. And it didn't help not having Juwan Seals, who was out today with a suspension after the Whataburger incident. And then Marcel Aitman was also dinged up and didn't play. So you lose those 2 guys and you have all that coverage back there. It just doesn't add up to a lot of success on those offensive bursts that we had seen previously, those big chunk yardage that the Cowboys used to get. Now that's absent, and this is not a team that can be successful when they just chip it away. At least that's what they've proven. Yeah, Dax Garman, by the way, 21 of 41 today. Definitely not a percentage that can win in the Big 12, honestly. I mean, you really have to be closer to that 60% mark, and I think, as you wrote, this was a day where the guy who brought the plug-and-play offense to Stillwater, the spread, Dana Holgorsen on the West Virginia sideline, and we saw just how far the Oklahoma State offense has really fallen in the years since he's gone. And yeah, I agree, the offensive line, they looked pretty good. I mean, I really think their protection was fairly solid all day, just not a good day from Dax Garman. And big plays, as you mentioned, it's not there. And really, it looks like to me OSU can't win unless it gets some big plays. Absolutely. I mean, today's the only touchdown came from Teddy Johnson, his first career touchdown ever. So talking to him after the game, it was a special moment. He had some family in the crowd. But when you're relying on your fullback to score touchdowns for you in the pass game, I mean, that should sum it up right there. Just how much this offense is struggling. We saw all these deep threats be so successful earlier in the year against lesser competition, and Mike Gundy even warned us. He said you have to base their success on who they were playing, and sure enough, once this offense ran into some better defenses, they've definitely exploited some of the youth that the Cowboys have across the board. Well, we did see a pretty good defense today in West Virginia, a team that now controls its own Big 12 destiny. They've got home games left against TCU, who is probably their biggest competition to win the Big 12. Then they go on the road against Texas and Iowa State, but they have a chance to win the Big 12, and I think it's in large part because their defense is so improved, and it showed today against Oklahoma State. Again, 34-10, West Virginia winning. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.